You recently discovered that your mom wasn't showering. Now, we don't have to talk about how you discovered this, but let's just say you know. It's just one of the many reasons that you'll feel better if she moves to assisted living. But your mom is asking you how the whole showering thing is going to work. She's a little nervous. I'm your host, Valerie Borgman, and today we're talking about showering and senior living.
Welcome to Desperately Seeking Senior Living, a podcast for sons, daughters, grandkids, and spouses who suddenly find themselves tangled in the search for senior living and care. If you like today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and check out our doable download in today's show notes for a printable summary of the show and a bonus tip from our guest.
You're listening to our doable tips, short answers to your questions. Don't see your question listed? Send us a note. Then don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an answer. Hi, and welcome to the show. I recently worked with a family whose dad was touring assisted living communities, and during the tour, he found himself alone with the tour guide. She later shared with me that he had some real concerns about how the whole showering thing was going to work. Now, this brought up a couple of things for me. The first thing I thought was, wow, he didn't feel comfortable asking his kids this question or asking the question in front of everyone on the tour. The other thing that came to mind was how many other times are seniors that we're helping, like your mom or dad, having these same thoughts and not asking? I'm so glad that he found himself in a position where he felt comfortable to ask her these questions. And I thought, we need an episode just about showering. Everything that we're going to talk about today can apply to assisted living communities, adult family homes, memory care, and in home care. And I want to start with one of the biggest assumptions about showering, and that is care staff are not assigned based on gender. Let me say that again. Care staff are not assigned to your mom or your dad based on gender. It is absolutely possible that your mom could have a male caregiver helping her shower. This actually came up in one of our family talk episodes, and I'll put a link to it in show notes. The staff and the family were all trying to figure out why their mom, who had Alzheimer's, was refusing to take a shower. Now, there can be several reasons why those with memory loss refuse showers, but they all finally figured out that in her case, it was because the caregiver was male. It never even occurred to her daughter that this could be a possibility, that a male could be helping her mother shower. So, if you can, have this conversation. Ask your mom or dad if they have a preference, and then communicate that preference to the staff. Gender may or may not be an issue for your loved one, but it's definitely important to know how it works, just in case. So let's get back to the gentleman I mentioned earlier who was asking about showers on the tour. He was wondering how it actually worked. Was someone going to be in the shower with him? What did it actually look like? So let's talk about the different levels of care when it comes to shower assistance. There are reminders, standby assistance, partial assist, and full assist. Reminders are just that. Maybe there's just enough memory loss that they forget to shower and they need someone to remind them. A standby assist is usually for those who may have a fear of falling, or they can physically do the job, but they need someone to walk them through the process, reminding them what the steps are. The caregiver usually stands outside the door and just has the door open enough that they can communicate. Or standby assist can also mean helping someone to get in and out of the shower. They can do the showering part on their own. And then in this case, maybe the caregiver is standing just outside of the shower curtain. Partial assist is a situation in which the caregivers may be hands on for only part of the job, like washing hair or other hard to reach places. And full assist, just like it sounds, is when, for either physical or cognitive reasons, the caregiver performs the entire task of showering. In any caregiving situation, the caregivers should be approaching care in a way that allows your mom or dad to be as independent as possible for as long as possible. Caregivers shouldn't be doing more than what they need to do. What about the actual showering experience in terms of where someone might shower? So, I want to talk about adult family homes and memory care because in these situations, there are very often shower rooms as opposed to someone showering in their individual private bathroom. So, these shower rooms are where all the residents, or most of them, will shower. In these situations, your loved one may be prepped in their own room with a shower chair on wheels and a shower wrap as a cover up. And then they are wheeled to the shower room, which is usually large, fully accessible, has a bathroom, and is temperature controlled. Even if your loved one has their own bathroom in these settings, they may be taken to the larger shower rooms for their shower. What about how often showers are given? Well, this is, of course, personal preference. But we find that as seniors age, they're taking fewer showers per week, mainly due to skin issues. Showering too much can cause the thinning skin to become dry and prone to cracking. Showers are usually once or twice a week, with additional care as needed. And in adult family homes, they even offer daily, let's call it freshening up. So let's talk about something else that I think is really important, and that's modesty. There are many reasons that your mom or dad might be modest about showering. I mean, come on, it's a very vulnerable position to be in. And there are products that completely cover someone while they're in the shower. They allow access, but modesty. And I'll put a link to these in show notes. Another related situation is something that's a bit more serious. And I wish we didn't have to talk about it, but it has come up with some of the families that we've worked with. And that's past sexual abuse. And I'm talking about survivors here. There are many sexual assault survivors among us, including seniors. We see this come up as one of the reasons that those with memory loss sometimes refuse assistance, not just with showering, but even with dressing. Many times these situations were never talked about or dealt with, and they come out as this fear of showering or refusing to shower. So, if you know that your mom has always been really modest, whatever the reason might be, make sure the staff is aware. I think sometimes seniors feel like they don't have a choice, that modesty just goes out the window when we get older. And I'm not sure it has to or even should. I've heard seniors say things like, well, it doesn't matter now. I'm old. Just might as well let it all hang out. Or caregivers sometimes think that those with memory loss don't know the difference. But just because we need help doesn't mean we have to give up our right to modesty and dignity. And just because someone has memory loss doesn't mean they don't still feel vulnerable. So if your mom or dad says things like this, ask them, do they really mean that? Are they really not feeling vulnerable? Or are they saying these things because they don't think they have a choice? Because they do. Asking for a particular gender of caregiver, asking that the bathroom be a certain temperature, or getting a modesty towel to cover up are all ways to help make the showering experience more personal, more respectful, and even more enjoyable.
Today's episode is brought to you by ClearPath Senior Living Solutions. ClearPath helps families find assisted living, memory care, and other resources. Find our contact information in today's show notes. Check out this episode's doable download in show notes for details, including industry terms and definitions we discussed, as well as a bonus tip from our guest. Have questions or your own tips to share? Leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, make it doable.